After touring way too many overpriced apartments in New York City, we were this close to giving up.
But if you read the title, we found a place. Truly at the last minute. I feel like we had actually kind of given up.
No, absolutely. We were like, this is the towel, we were throwing it in.
Towel was thrown, towel was chucked. We were like, we're gonna push pause for like 2 more months and pick back up in like November, December. But
Psych for us, more than for you. I feel like y'all were probably expecting us to find something. We were kind of like...
We'll explain where our headspace was at. If you watched our last apartment touring video, we toured 14 different apartments, and this apartment was actually not one of them, but we'll get into that.
To rewind to the very beginning of this journey, we started our apartment search in February of 2025. And so we toured apartments in February and March and ended up re-signing our lease in April. We re-signed our lease for another year.
But after 6 months, we were able to essentially break our lease and just give our landlord notice. So we liked having that little bit of like wiggle room in there. And that's why we weren't like, we have to find a place by October 1st, but October 1st was when we were able to find a place.
So in our most recent video, you would have saw that we toured 14 different apartment units. And then after that, we ended up actually touring another 3 in a different building and then another 2 in the building that we ended up finding an apartment in. So let's quickly catch you up to speed on all the other apartments that we toured to help you understand how we were weighing out everything. The first 3 apartments that we toured were in a luxury building. We were particularly excited about this 1 bedroom that was apparently 700 square feet, which is pretty big for a 1 bedroom, but once we were inside of it, it didn't really feel any bigger than all the other ones that we had toured in this same style of building. In general, all these units were just too expensive. The 4th apartment that we toured was on the first floor of a brownstone. The layout was extremely unique and we loved a lot of things about it. But we learned during this tour that you weren't actually allowed to use the downstairs as a bedroom because there wasn't enough airflow. Not really sure what that means, but that kind of leads to the other major problem about this place. There was 0 natural light, even though there was this little outdoor space. The last one we toured was in the same building that we ended up signing our lease in, and this unit was nice, but somehow it was smaller and more expensive than the one that we signed on. The only upside about this unit was that there was a dishwasher, but everything else about the one that we signed on, I would say was a lot better.
The other one is just a million times better. I feel like I'd be ready to put in an application today. Like I haven't felt that strongly about a place.
So just for our own like need to pat ourselves on the back just a little bit, how many apartments have we toured in total? So in the February one, we toured 12. And then 10.
10, yeah.
And then 14.
Yes, but
so
then this doesn't include the additional 5 we did on top of all that.
So we toured 41 apartments in person. And let's be clear. Let us be really clear.
Yeah.
Chandler toured 41 apartments in person. I was probably present at half. That's generous.
Okay, honestly, you probably were there for half because you were there for the majority of them in my memory in February and March, and then you just weren't really there for the majority of them in this last search I did.
Which brings us to the subject of like the most commented on apartment in our last video.
The green apartment.
We know so many of you love the green apartment. Here's what happened. So, as Chandler shared in the video, he wasn't recording on accident part of the apartment. So he got like half of the apartment. And I was not there with him in person. I had a work call during this tour. Because of that, and Chandler said this later, he was like, Lucy, I think if you were there, you would have been like, put in an application.
For sure.
But we thought on it too long. We thought on it for like 24, 48 hours, right?
Yeah, I think it was 48 hours after, and then I like reached out to the broker essentially, and then the apartment was gone, of course, because it was such a nice apartment.
So beautiful.
I don't know why I had cold feet in the moment. Actually, I do know why I had cold feet. The bedroom seemed a little small for us, and that was like my main issue. But honestly, in hindsight, I'm like, we should have put in a dang application because the price was really so good. You
just needed like a woman's nudge.
No, for sure. In our last touring process, anytime Lucy came with, you were like, let's put in an application. And then I was like, let's like weigh this out a little bit.
Yeah. It was probably better that I wasn't at a lot of these tours.
Maybe, I don't know. But we did mention at the end of our last video that we were putting in an application for a different apartment. We will show you the apartment right now that we were trying to put an application in for, and eventually they let us know that they already had an application in for it It had been on the market for a long time, so at that point we were hoping to ask for less than the asking price. And then since they already had an application in, it really just honestly didn't seem worth our time to put that application in. So we ended up scrapping that weekend.
Which leads us all the way up to 1 week ago today when we toured the place that will be our future home.
Yay.
Yay. Now Chandler had seen this apartment before because it had actually been on the market since like the beginning of August, which obviously is a red flag, right? And I think there was such a clear indicator when we toured the apartment of like why it had been on the market so long, and that was the kitchen.
The kitchen, it's how do we put this? It's not great, but honestly, it's probably just as bad as the kitchen that we're in right now. So, been there, done that.
It's tough as people who like cook 3 meals a day at home and like genuinely love being in a kitchen. I think we've always been like excited that the next place we move into will have such a lovely kitchen. That is not the way the cookie is going to crumble in this season of our lives. However, let's get into the good stuff.
The first thing, and probably the best thing, is the square footage. This place is by far the biggest 1-bedroom that we've toured in our entire apartment search, I would say.
Our new apartment is over double the size of our current apartment. Essentially just like picture 2 of these next to each other. One's a bedroom and one's a living room. And they're pretty much like true rectangles as well. So it's like gonna be really easy to fit our stuff into it. So I don't think we even know what to do with that much space.
I feel like our stuff is just gonna feel so spread out. We're gonna be like yelling at each other from the other room.
We're gonna have another room.
We're gonna have another room. This is gonna be such a game changer for us. The next amazing thing is the fact that this place has a gym. Y'all know we pay a ridiculous amount of money to have a gym in New York City, and we do go to like one of the nicest gyms in New York City, so there's that. But this has a gym within the building, and it only costs $50 per person a month. So we are saving a lot of money in some ways, depending which way you look at it, by having a gym in the building. And that was a huge priority for our next apartment.
Because the apartment had been on the market so long, it had slowly gone down in price, like $50 every week or so. By the time we got it, the apartment has gone down by $250 a month. So that's really wonderful. Honestly, this is by far the lowest price we have seen for an apartment that has a gym that is like decent. We actually have an appointment at our new apartment to be able to measure things, be in the space again, and like actually visualize it now that it's ours. We move in 3 weeks from today, and so very excited for this, but we gotta go. When we get back, we'll share a little bit more about the negotiation and the signing of the lease process.
Because it's always such a huge ordeal in New York City.
Let's go.
All right, we have finished, We have finished all of the measurements. So I really want to show you all a sneak peek, but should we show them anything?
Let's show the front closet.
Okay, we're gonna show you how massive this front closet is.
And then look how far away we can stand from each other. It's very exciting for us.
This is, I mean, I would actually call this a walk-in closet. I know it's kind of a funky shape, but...
But if 2 people can stand in here and not touch each other...
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got really overconfident there. It's just like, it feels like it's just made of concrete. Like this feels like a bomb shelter slightly.
A little bit, yeah.
Anyway, we're really excited about that. I feel like what we spent most of this time considering is like how we're gonna do our dining area. We haven't had a dining area since California almost 4 years ago. Have a knock?
Yeah, you can check.
Okay. As I was saying, we haven't had a dining area since like 4 years ago, and so kind of figuring out like what size we would need to get. And additionally, we're gonna need like an extra island food prep situation because the kitchen just does not have enough counter space. So that's kind of what we've been talking through. The rest of the space is plenty. It's just gonna be how we orient everything. So I'm excited. Chandler was just saying before this that like in a year, we're gonna look back and be like, how did we not have this much space? Like, how did we live in such a small space before this?
I think we're gonna adjust quickly to more space.
Yeah, I know.
I'm excited. All right, let's go home, explain more of the lease signing and how we negotiated.
Now that we're back, let's get into the lease. As I mentioned, the price had dropped because it had been on the market for a second. So the price initially was listed at $4,500. When we toured it, it was listed for $4,350. Because it had been on the market for a second, we were like, maybe there's some wiggle room, which leads to Chandler.
So essentially I had talked with the broker and asked if there was any flexibility within the pricing. It sounded like they would actually entertain a lower offer offer. So that's when we put in our application and asked for our rent to be $4,100.
They got back to us and let us know that the lowest they would go would be $4,250, which was about $100 lower than what was listed. And they would also reduce the security deposit from $4,250 to only $1,000. Plus, there's no broker fee. And lastly, the application fee was only $20 a person.
I don't think we can understate how much of a game changer it is that the security deposit was only $1,000. All that being said, we're paying a lot less going into this apartment compared to all the other ones that we're looking at.
And this apartment is falling within our budget. And honestly, with how things were looking, if you watched our last video, like we were gonna be shocked if we found anything under $4,500, let alone something with a gym. So the fact that it's just $4,250, which probably sounds crazy to so many of you, I really understand.
It still sounds a little crazy to us if we're being honest.
100%. We pay $2,700 right now. It's definitely gonna be a leap, but we are gonna be cutting out our gym cost, which is gonna hopefully make so many of you happy who have commented on that for years, just being like, get an apartment with a gym.
So I don't even know why we didn't film all this. We were honestly kind of bad YouTubers for not filming the fact that we signed a lease when we've been bringing y'all into all of the apartment hunting that we've been doing. We were actually on a trip with our friends in Connecticut, and we thought, should we film that trip? And then we both communicated about like, no, we're just like not gonna film anything. And I think that translated to, oh, I guess we're not gonna film anything for this huge moment in our life of signing this lease. But yeah, we are in Connecticut. I do have a few cute photos from Connecticut, but not us signing the lease. The apartment will officially be ours in 3 weeks, and we are so excited. It's kind of bittersweet, if I'm being honest, to be leaving this place.
The reason we've stayed here this long, probably number one, our landlord is so amazing. Like, I just love him so much. Like, it makes me want to cry that we have to leave. And also, it's just like, we have not a single bad thing to say about this building or this apartment. It's not a bad thing, but I think we do need more space is really just like the main factor of why we're leaving. But we've been here 3.5 years. That's probably 2.5 years longer than we thought we would be here. Thank you to everyone who has stuck with us this whole time and actually believed us that we are truly looking for an apartment. We're not just making videos for the sake of making YouTube videos of touring apartments. It's just taken longer than we thought. So thank you for sticking with us.
And next week, we also have another exciting announcement, so feel free to stick along for that. But yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Lots of fun life stuff happening, Lu.
Lots of fun life stuff happening.